the federal government of Nigeria, the management of the newly established NDDC, with the active support of the government of Rivers State, led at the time by His Excellency Sir Dr. Peter Odili, who himself was one of the several political proteges of the late Harold Dappa Biriye, decided to name the NDDC temporary headquarters building donated by the government of Rivers State, an act that we all in the region appreciate. They named that building after Harold Dappa Biriye. The building, the NDDC Permanent Temporary Secretariat, up until recently, was known as the Harold Dappa Biriye House. That was an honor bestowed on him, which he appreciated before his demise. I knew because I was one of his young advisors, legal advisors and secretaries towards the end of his life. This Senate observes that the NDDC, after 20 years of existence, has now commissioned, last year, commissioned its permanent headquarters, but observes with dismay, that while the NDDC commissioned and has moved its personnel and activities into its permanent headquarters, which is commendable, it has somehow refused, neglected, or failed to transfer the name Harold Dappa Biriye earlier approved that adorned the temporary secretariat, temporary headquarters. That should have been done even before the commissioning. That should have been done even before the commission. By not doing that, unless this Senate intervenes, it's as if the honor that was bestowed on one of our founding fathers and leaders has been jettisoned just because the man is dead, and we shouldn't let that happen. The Senate also observes that, well, unlike some of his colleagues and contemporaries who fought and worked for our country's independence and laying its foundation, whose names and images adorn our national currency and also strategic national assets, Harold Dappa Biriye has none in his name other than this. When I was governor, because I was honored and privileged to be mentored by him on how you can, in a multinational country, raise issues, fight for unity, but work for the good of all, including ourselves. He taught us that. I built and named the International Conference Center, which bears his name in Bayelsa. So, accordingly, Mr. President and my dear colleagues, I most respectfully and passionately urge that this Senate should resolve to direct the Secretary to Government of the Federation and the Honorable Minister of Niger Delta Affairs to direct and ensure the retention, because the honor had already been done and approved, retention of the name Harold Dappa Biriye House to be affixed in the NDDC permanent headquarters now, without further delay. Mr. President and my dear distinguished colleagues, I so move. And thank you for the order.
We are a separate arm of government. In my judgment, we can urge, because this is something that we don't have direct control. If you say direct, then it means like by the evening they should host the name there. But we can urge and maybe continue to chase it, hoping that somebody takes immediate action. Are you okay with that? Okay. 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 Distinguished Senator Dickson,
I rise to second this motion moved by my brother, Senator Harold Dappa with pleasure, being familiar with the historical background that he had laid. Mr. President, indeed, Harold Dappa Biriye was a great son, not only of Niger Delta, but of this country. He fought for the independence of Nigeria, and until his demise, he stood to defend what is good and what is right in the interest of the people of this great nation. Mr. President, for his contribution towards the development of man and society, particularly that part of this country, I feel that this is the least that we can do, the federal government can do to immortalize the name of this great son of Nigeria. It is on that note that, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, I want to appeal to all of us to support this motion. Thank you.
The Secretary to the Government of the Federation and the Minister of Niger Delta Affairs to direct and ensure the retention of the name Harold Dappa Biriye House in the NDDC permanent headquarters forthwith without further delay. Are we to talk to the Secretary to Government and Minister or the Executive? Yes. Because this is something that needs to be approved maybe by the Federal Executive Council or something. So the Secretary to Government cannot do it. Why this motion is here in the first place is because it was there in the temporary building. The new building has been commissioned and is under usage, and the transfer of the name has not been done. So it's either someone has forgotten to bring the name, or maybe it's in confused state of mind whether it should be another name. And I think that's the essence of this. So it's supposed to be the entire government that is going to decide. Okay, Senator Ijaw.
Yeah,